Hello and welcome to Galactic Goddess podcast. I'm your host, Radhaa Nilia, and I got my sister here, Alanna Starr. Welcome.
Hi, Radha.
Hi, this is a very impromptu conversation because I think I sent you like a whole bunch of ideas about what to talk about.
Yeah,
And and the interference thing really came up big for us. So let's just dive right in and talk about um, how there seems to be like these interferences in everything that we do in life, and how much of it is organized distortion and how much of it is organic. You know what I mean?
yeah, it's funny because right when you started this, a helicopter flew over, and it was just like perfect timing for talking about interferences. And I think because you sent me that list and we started chatting, and we picked this topic about interference and about timelines, right? How you can stabilize yourself in a positive timeline for yourself. And a lot of that is beating the disruptions and the interferences that we're faced with, whether they're intentional by some grand scheme, right?
Mm.
Or whether it's just like, in things that happen during the day that interrupt your flow. And as a manifestor in the human design, we can feel that interruption really strongly, which is why I think we chose this topic. But um, just before you asked me to do this, I was putting my little one to sleep and I kept hearing all these noises outside. And I often find myself getting really like like upset at the world because it's just so it's amazing how careless people or how they forget that there's children, like little infants that are napping. And this is, I mean, we don't really consider that half the bathrooms in Los Angeles don't have changing tables in
Mm.
there. And it's like, we just, the world does not fully consider, especially in the city, the interruptions that, a child or a toddler or a parent can face. Those things are not thought about. So just imagine that on a grander scale
Yeah.
with interference, right? When we're talking about whether it's 5G or anything else. So this was your idea. So maybe
Yeah.
you can tell us more about what you were feeling with the interference and all that good stuff.
Well, we have had a conversation about timelines and timeline wars, and in order to really dive into this, I think we'd have to talk about the soul stalking that happens before incarnation, because this
Mm,
is kind of a matrixy type of place. It's almost like the doors have been locked from within for quite some time. And then there used to be probably a lot more portals where divine beings could come in and out. But now everything is kind of like the TSA, where, galactic TSA, where when a soul's incarnating into here, they already have every information they could have on you. They know
mm,
your soul origin, they know where you come from, they know your mission, they know your vision, and they're going to harass you you know, until you pretty much give up. And I think, and then they do you go through the mind wipe, the amnesia thing. I mean, those are just sort of part of the rules about playing this, what was a construct and a game at one point became a little bit convoluted and really distorted. And so why am I saying all of this? Because it's relevant to disruptions in our daily life, disruptions in our even our emotions, like realizing that there are, you know I think it's really important to understand the whole big picture and not just love and light it out of existence, because when we look at it, then we can do something about it, right?
I,
When we
yeah,
don't know, we don't know, and then we're just a victim. So I'm not into that. Who wants to be a victim? Let's get to the root of it, right?
yeah, the root is everything.
Yeah.
When you were speaking, I think it's a Chinese proverb that came to me, and it was um, in English, it's the nail that sticks out gets hammered down. And
Oof.
I feel like if you come in this world with that like ability to shine and they know that, right? Um, yeah, you definitely can be targeted, right? And then also towards the end of what you were saying, I thought of responsibility
Mm.
and that the sacred responsibility is that like you take responsibility for the things that you're causing, but also don't
Mhm.
be ignorant to the things that are being caused to you as well.
Yes.
because
And
you think that you just tripped over something, but it was placed there for you to trip, right? Kind of like
yeah.
what we're talking about. And I always like to we make these galactic conversations, and but I like to always bring them back to the smallest detail when
Yeah.
it comes to accidental
Mm-hmm.
and organic.
Mm-hmm.
What's an
Yes.
organic thing, and what is really like something that is caught meant to trip you up,
Mm-hmm.
and that can be so hard. And like that anger that I feel just as a mother, like imagine how much that anger is blocking me.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
blocking my heart from just being empathetic, you know,
Because you love your
and being
child. You want.
compassionate, because I get so, or it's not just that, but it's like so many different things that trigger us
Mm-hmm.
because of these interferences.
It's true, especially
How do
when
we
it
handle it?
affects people we love, family, children. And for me, I always thought like I never wanted to see another, like, if I was to procreate, like to see my child go through these things that I've experienced. Nobody wants that for their child. Like, we want to protect, we're nurturers, protectors, and want to want to get to the root and root it out, pull it out. But I also think that a lot of this stuff is, I think the old mechanics of this matrix are no longer really working the way that they used to be.
Mhm.
I know that, like, there are so many black magicians in this world, and listen, they don't have the umph they used to. They just can't. They can do the spell casting and all this nasty stuff they do, but they can't really penetrate anymore, because so many of us, we've been through so much, like so much, that in many ways we've had to start clearing out these traumas. Not that we're perfectly clear by any means, but we start to weed our own garden, and therefore we're able to enjoy it more. Whereas before, it's like, I mean, and I don't, it's weird. I don't like to label the snake, because I see snakes also as benevolent, beautiful beings, because in the Appalachians, the black snakes are my friends. But like in the Bible, like the snake, the serpentine, comes in, but it's almost like the serpentine energy cannot penetrate in the same manner as them. And these are new concepts, and they're even hard for me to explain, but I always had this feeling about siphoning, that something was always trying to siphon me. And I'm somebody that's had, like, fatigue for a really long time, chronic fatigue. um and I noticed lately, when I'm doing my healings and clearings, that I'm getting more energy from doing them, but I'm calling back all parts of me, and I think it's really important that we all do that we all call back all parts of us, cleansed, cleared, purified, and really resoundingly inviting it back in, so that we can restore ourselves and be.
Command our space, command
Yes.
that we are the keepers, like we are the ones who are the
Yes.
captain of our own ship.
Yes.
It's so, yeah, that, I mean, this is why SRA abuse, satanic ritual abuse, exists. This is why trauma-based mind control exists. Like, there are those who, I mean, these are science, this is not just science, I'm sorry. These are documents, leaked documents that are out there. There's no need to argue about if it exists or not. I mean, people make movies about it because it exists. And so yeah, we just sit and act like it doesn't exist and not acknowledge it. It doesn't do anything for
No,
us.
it
But
doesn't.
it has been it has been coming out more, and people are doing more of the work to clear it, like you're saying,
Yeah.
and we're more equipped to handle it.
Yeah, I think so.
The
And
Christ consciousness is here. You know, the Christ codes are here, where a lot of us have received different parts of it, and
yes.
it's becoming more clear to us what we're here to do. And the more we figure it out, the more you can be attacked in some ways. um, but I think that also goes back to taking responsibility. For some reason, it always comes back to that, because we can't just give it all, put it all in somebody else, like that they did it, but that just kind of gives them more power, right?
You just have to say no. And now is the time to say no. This stuff has been going on for eons of time. We're even bred into this. We're even bred, when we're born, we're already in a lineage mind control, because of all of the wars and and specific programming and programs that many of our ancestors have been through, it automatically makes us a candidate, right? And then a lot of our lineages have been sold out, so how do we reclaim that? Do we just stay a victim? No, we can't. We can't afford to do that. We're not here to do that. We have to just say, wow, that is a trip. It is dark, and we don't want to stay there, but we acknowledge this exists so that when the triggers come up, when the programming starts to want to activate, and go back into that, we can say, oh, hold on, no. When the energetic controllers, because of the programming, were able to hook in, plug in, literally plug in to our chakras.
Right.
For me, like, I had an experience recently where an old lineage type of entity or whatnot was trying to come into me, and it comes in through certain people in my family, and it's really triggering, and it tries to come in. It wants to penetrate my field. It can't quite get in. And it really goes for, like, where it goes for my kidneys. It kind of goes for certain places that are a little bit weaker. Um, and I,
It's funny because ignorance is not bliss, but I can see why people want to remain ignorant, because when you really see into the matrix, and people that do medicine ceremonies, like ayahuasca,
Mhm.
you can you can see the implants, you can see them there.
Yeah,
I pulled implants out of my fingers in ceremony, where
yes,
you're under influence of something. It's purposeful,
yeah,
medicinal, to
it's
help you.
conscious.
And I always ask and pray to see what I cannot see.
Mhm.
What am I suffering from, things like that. Take me to the root of the issues, take me
Yeah,
to see people for their true colors, like
yes.
to show me, to take me back to my purity and my innocence. And usually I'm shown, like, the spaces where we're not occupying in our bodies can be
Mhm.
filled with entities, right, and different beings, like, that are feeding on you, whether it's physically or spiritually. There's exist things that we cannot see. And we don't heal to escape reality. We heal and use these modalities so we can see clearer in this matrix, so we can take full ownership of our space and claim it while we're here, and not wait to die to be an ascended master when you can have it here. You can have it right now. Heaven on earth. It's such a
It's so true. It's the word that comes to mind is embody. When you say take responsibility, that's, to me, that's the word that comes to mind, because we have to take up more space within ourselves. And that's like loving space, conscious space. Um, all these woundings, they really do spread throughout the body. Emotional woundings spread, right? And sometimes that equates to dis-ease. And so when
Mhm.
we start to fill these spaces and start to recode ourselves, there's an opportunity for renewal, right? Where we have to really plant those seeds within ourselves. And we've been given every opportunity, and we have
Wow.
the tools. We have the tools. We don't have to wait another day, another lifetime anymore. Let's not do this again. Let's do the best we can now, because now is what's given to us. And this is a really precious time. And a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, there's so much darkness coming up to earth. And the great gurus always said, well, when the darkest of the dark comes, the pinnacle of darkness, people like us can also move higher in the light. Because of that balance, there is that opportunity.
Yes. One time in a ceremony with plant medicine, I was having a really rough experience where I was like shaking and crying because I could see beings. I don't remember exactly what they were, but I could see um, the energy of like different people too that they carry, what they
Mhm.
were doing to me. And I started freaking out in my ceremony. Because I was seeing it. This is why many people don't like to do medicine. They're scared to see themselves, and they're scared to see what's really there. And I was like shaking. I literally was like convulsions, like, because it's scary.
Mm.
And it's like, do I have the power to get this off of me right now? Like, you have to pray. And that's why prayer is so powerful. And these ascended
Yes.
masters like Jesus, Yeshua, Mary Magdalene, Hathor, we call on these, hopefully they are really helping us. And but my shaman, she looked at me and she said, I know this is scary, but don't forget that they come to you for your light as well.
Oh,
They're coming for you because it's
chill.
like applying the light. They're gonna get killed, but they love it and they go to the light. um but there's something even with the narcissist that they're lacking. And if
Mhm.
you hold the codes, or you hold the frequency of the gatekeepers, of the rose, of the Christos, or of the rose lineage, or you carry these different lineages like you're talking about, or DNA in our bloodlines, if we hold that ancientness inside of us, then they're coming to us because they want that. And it's scary because we actually don't recognize ourselves for
Mhm.
so long. We don't recognize our own power because we've been wounded and
Mhm.
targeted.
Yeah.
And then we finally start realizing who we are, and then we start being able to help radiate that out to others, and we're not so reactive. Does that make sense? I know I'm just rambling on right now, but
It makes sense. You gave me the chills when you said that they don't just come, they come for the light. They come for the light too.
yeah. We have to remember that too.
Yeah.
When we start attacking them, getting angry at them, it's so easy to do that, but it's all part of this. I think that at the end of the day, that there's something really divine happening underneath all of the pain and this samsara,
Yeah.
right? Because many people, maybe they're just not ready to wake up yet, and
Mhm.
it's just sucky. We have to wait and wait for these people to fucking wake up, and just like, but we have to give everyone their own process,
Yes.
but some people are literally off the rocker right now. I mean, it's scary.
Oh, the mental illness is going at an all-time high. And actually, a great guru, Sri Nandamurti, he said this like so long ago, but even 20 years ago, my mother told me, I was in the car with her on a freeway. She's like, in the near future, Sri Nandamurti said that people are going to get imbalanced, so mentally ill, because what's happening is that there's so much light coming in, and if they're in the lower consciousness, lower frequencies, if they're not doing any of the work, they have to shed this off. They have to purge it out. And a lot of people aren't willing to look at their own shadow. And what happens is they cut themselves off from source, creator light. And so they get darker and heavier, and actually an entity portal rather than being able to ascend, because this is the time we have to lighten it up. And so I really like what you said, Alanna. You were like, it's easy to get angry. And the truth is, yeah, they do need more light. They do need, we don't have to be best friends, but even like the entity that was stalking me,
They don't need our reaction because they
no, they
feed off
don't
of
need their
that.
reaction.
It's
Yeah.
like the fighting and the division.
No,
It's the.
no. And so, excuse me,
By the
my,
way, can I say one more thing that
yeah.
I just discovered that I know we talked about before, but the cloning, and
Mhm.
how actually, like, we don't even know what's real anymore.
Yeah.
So everything that's triggering us, especially in politics, you can't really trust it. You have
No,
to.
you can't. You don't even know if they're like the real person. A lot of these high, really incredible masks. I mean, I went to the Star Wars, like where the first Star Wars was made, the studio, and um, because one of my friends was considering being an investor in hologram celebrities. So they were already in production with that, and that was quite a while ago. And they were already in production to create these like, you cannot, they're replicas of these dead celebrities basically, but they could speak like them, they could move like them. These really advanced artists, that was their whole job. And then using AI and all that stuff. And that was like a long time ago, like maybe a decade ago. So I can't imagine what they have now, but they've been using this stuff for a really long time. Whatever comes out to public, it's already been in usage
And
for
here's more.
a really long time. You know, we're just getting hip to it, but it's already been there.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, it's rad. It's rad, Dad.
Yeah, but it's,
Uh,
it's kind of funny too. You gotta laugh because you're like, these fools, like they're not even real. Like we're getting so mad at these people, and they could just be they could be clones. I mean, they could be just mask wearing people, actors. You know, we get so emotionally charged over these, you know, whatever they are. I mean, who knows, but they're not even fully conscious. Some of them are not even fully conscious beings. Some of them are, you know, so we don't know. But the thing is we don't want to get emotionally charged anymore,
Right,
you
exactly.
know, and laughter is
Yeah.
good because if we can laugh at it, if we can laugh and have a sense of humor, kind of make fun of them, make fun of it. It takes it
That's
takes
something I've had been learned to
yeah.
do, because yeah,
It's
I still feel pretty angry. It's so many things, you know, it's like I do all this work and I still feel angry as F, you
Mhm.
know, it's just like
Oh,
the
and you're not alone.
injustice, and then also, you know, just yeah, it's a lot.
It's so much. I mean, I feel like so upset about the injustice and so much grief. And I've cried so much because I felt so much grief and sadness and anger and rage and um you know, it's so uncool and it's hard when you feel like, "Oh my gosh, like I'm the," you know, there's a very few of us that kind of have been seen behind the veil, and so, it feels like a really lonely place to be. It feels like a really lonely place to be, and, it's like you're, you know, you're the sore thumb, you're the, you know, you're the last one out, but really, it's the other way around, but didn't it say in the Bible that, you know, there'll come a time when the people who are crazy think that the people that aren't crazy are, you know,
Yeah,
like
something like
it's
that.
the opposite, like the inversion.
Inversion, everything.
Everything's inversion. So there is a lot to be angry about. And I don't ever say suppress the emotion. I'm like, you gotta feel to heal. Like feel it. It burns, it burns. But you know why it burns? Because we love. We love so deeply. We love so much that it hurts
I
sometimes.
guess that's what makes the star seeds, right? The indigos, the ones who kind of like not kind of, they realize that they came here to hold this shit down.
Yeah.
'Cause it does hurt, you know.
It,
It's so, and like it takes a certain level of just divine grace
mhm.
and patience and that sacred responsibility.
Yeah.
So we're not perfect. People, you know, star seeds aren't
No.
perfect,
No
and it's
way. How
just a
could
word
they?
at the end of the day. But it's just to describe the fact that we feel like we have a deeper purpose here, and maybe it's a defense mechanism for our pain, or maybe it's actually like I'm taking this responsibility for as a spark of God, that if I'm going to help correct the mess that we're in, at least I can, you know, treat people with the minimal of respect for the most part.
Yeah.
And if they're not, yell at them.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Well,
Yes,
I would love this. I love our conversation. But I know we both were a little bit stretched on time.
absolutely. Yeah. So I just want to wrap it up and just say, you know, if you feel interference in your life that is feels artificial to you, that feels like this isn't how it's meant to be, it's really important to take divine responsibility. And you have to understand that, you know, creator, source, whatever you want to call it, gave you that power to say no, to command it out, to say no, I don't accept, I don't consent, I don't agree. This is no longer going to go forward. I'm pulling all the cords, the hooks, you know, all of that, all of the entities have got to go. Creator, get your vacuum cleaner, just start, you know, like get to work. There's things you can do.
Yes. I remember in the session I had with you for the goddess code activations, um, the goddess activations to become a pillar of light.
Mhm.
When you channeled with Sophia, she came through, and remember she asked us, or asked me, to give more my burdens to her.
Oh,
That
yes.
way I can have more space inside of myself for the light of my own soul, and
Wow.
to give
Yeah.
your burdens, whether it's to Yeshua or to God, to Mother Mary, or you know, Sophia, to be able to lighten our load a little bit, because it's not all of ours, right? Like
That's
that's why we have prayer,
yeah.
to ask
That's
for help.
that's so true. Yeah. The giving it back, giving it back. We have to keep giving it up and surrender. That's where we do surrender. Like, I can't carry all of this. I'm
And
gonna
Radha does really great sessions for that, by the way.
oh yeah.
To clear, if you can't do it for yourself, hire somebody who can.
Yes,
There's
or
amazing
hypnotherapy.
implant removal people out there, and
Yeah.
quantum hypnosis and all that jazz.
Yes, there's so much out there and there's so many resources. So that's where taking responsibility really matters. But anyhow, we're going to wrap it up and say thank you so much for joining our impromptu conversation, because we just had to have it. And
Yeah,
thanks for joining us. Until next time, much love.
the
Blessings.
best. Bye.
Bye.